are being removed. That's the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
The leaders, the whole damn judges, attorneys, the whole process of that. Maybe they forgot about tonight.
I don't think so. I don't think so. There we go.
There you go.
Hi, everybody.
Okay.
Still having some technical difficulties, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, yeah, everybody is. Even in the earlier class, it was cutting out on Zoom. So we're going to see.
And then we were just on a phone call, and it just totally, we lost that too.
Yeah.
So who knows?
We'll see what happens.
Hi, everyone.
So we're gonna go to some interesting stuff tonight. I don't know how long we're gonna be online. We'll figure that out. We are gonna do some readings on top of some insightful information and world event stuff that's going on. So we'll figure this out. Everybody. So we can start with some questions. I'm sure people are know what's going on.
All right, folks, if you have a question, if you could put it in caps, that would make it easier for me. Thank you very much. You could always start with a rant, right? You want to vent on anything?
Don't bring up Hillary.
Right.
And the whole post on that, because we all know the answer to that whole situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. We know she's such a great person. Yep. So, we can talk about that. No one is sleeping. Everybody that I know is not getting any sleep. How many hours did you get last night?
Maybe 3.5, but not all in one shot.
I just kind of laid there, looking at the wall, turned on the TV, turned it off. Just, it's not working.
Yeah, you just froze for a quick second, like a half a second, just preparing.
Here we go.
They're already starting. There we go.
Yes,
Sandra says, wide awake. Yep, we sure are. Okay, will Israel go back on the ceasefire?
Well, I think they're trying to create peace. I don't think they're gonna. That was the main process. Trump's whole goal was to get to this level. It was the ultimate level because the golden age could not be implemented unless there was complete peace. And that was the thing that was most important. They had to agree, they had to sign, and then everything can be implemented. That was the most important process of this. So we can carry on forward through this. So, and I'm sure all these other countries know the abundance that they're going to get and what comes from that, because everybody wants to look like they're taking care of their country, they're good, all their people are prospering from the situation. So this is the thing. A lot of change is coming in. So this is like the top of the pyramid to have this happen. And it's the most important, and everybody knows it's the most important. So to bring the fake Hillary out and act like she cares, which we know she doesn't, you know, that's the last person can care about peace. Um, so yeah, it's not a situation. I'm wondering, how they go back from being hating Trump to kissing his ass to hating him to kissing his ass. It's just a non-stop situation on the whole terrain of that. So yeah, that's one that needs to be hung in public to be seen how that really happened. So everything has to become into a peace process.
Right. Okay, next question. Will the Death Angel take out the evil people and NPCs soon?
Who's the Death Angel?
I think New York just wants something to take out the evil people and the NPCs.
Oh,
so
here we go. We talked about last night of that craft and that frequency and the whole situation, because you have to understand what the NPCs and the programs and these organic systems that they've had for a long time, super soldier programs, all this stuff that's connected to a system. At some point, they're going to sever that. That's the point that I want to be out front, sitting in a seat and just watching them fall down, and they ain't gonna get back up. And that's why, when like I said, the governments purchase these big shovels, massive. They just picks it up and carries the body off, or whatever you want to call the body, and just shovels them up. So that's going to be interesting, and and I think they were saying that 90% when this is done, that people are going to be like 90% are not going to be able to handle it. No, they're going to be in mental wards over this whole situation, and they are. But I mean, there are many that are prepared for the layers of this information that's going to hit the mainstream media on everything. Yeah. So, how they're building everything up to the solar flash that everybody's saying it's coming in, and then how we're building this up to this. They keep pushing out this big ship. CNN is just pushing that out. Like, that's the only thing they can push out there right now. And like I said, a big nothing burger is going to come out of the situation. Just change of frequency. Just to keep you occupied and not pay attention to other things that are going on financially at all. So ringing the bell in, the new financial system is what I'm occupied with. I want to pay attention to.
People are watching. Silver's going up. 50.75 today.
I know.
Kevin says silver went up $2.77 on the 24-hour period. This isn't normal.
No,
I didn't know what's normal anymore.
I mean, it's outrageous the amounts that they say silver is going to be by the end of October. And when I had a person tell me at first, I was like, "There's just no way." And now I'm like, "Yeah, there's a way. I'm seeing it." Because when you actually do a complete flip of our complete wealth and how much everything cost and how this is, what I was noticing today, because I am starting to look for another property, that I, want, and prices are dropping. They're going down. They're starting to go down. I'm noticing that. And so something's is getting ready to fall out, that's going to hit to a certain level. It depends on the area and stuff like that. But again, you have to look at, they build all these complexes, all these apartments to fill all these immigrants in the United States, to fill this, and now those are vacant, and it's going to get, they built all this stuff that they shouldn't have done in the first place. And then Trump just signed that these bigger corporations cannot just overbuy these properties and make it just profit. People have to start giving the land back to the people, and they can have a legal way of purchasing properties, because we can't compete with the bigger brother. So there's a lot of things that are going to affect the housing. So I think it's good for the consumer that's going to buy. I think this leaves it, and I'm wondering how the government's going to balance off the ones that have been having to pay a high price for a house, and it's not going to balance off selling it. That's what I'm wondering, what type of program they're going to build in for that. So, because the banks played the game, and now they're losing. And I've heard on auctions of the houses, when they go to the banks and they want to auction out the houses, like, people are not even going to the auctions. And so the banks are not even getting their money. So now they're not even pursuing that avenue. That tells you the collapse of all of it's coming to a certain point. So, and that's why, I'm just looking at, like, just keep an eye on things. When they jump, I'll jump and I'll buy. But, but I think prices are going to go down. And if they go back to the prices they say they're going to, it'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be good.
Right. So I don't see anything going up. I see things going down, except gold, silver, XRP. And another thing is the Bitcoin. When that finally tanks, which I think is going to tank overnight. And they're talking about all these lawsuits that all these people have invested in these wallets, and half of the wallets are fraud. That people can't even access it on their own. And that's why, if I can't hold it in my hand to see it for myself, and one of my friends a long time ago said, Jen, you buy that gold and you buy that silver, and you make sure you can touch it. And that's the thing. And then people ask, what do? Go to your local dealer and you buy gold and silver and you store it in your house. That's what you need to do. So, and that's the thing. I mean, the fraud, until people actually want to cash in on this XRP stuff, the corporations that are out there, they're in such a fraud process. You can't go on Telegram without, I get so annoyed looking at messages on Telegram, because it's no one that I recognize or anything like that. And the first thing they're going to say, they get all happy and nice and like, how you doing? Everything's good. Did you see the financial market coming your way? And like, fuck off.
Right.
And to pay so many people to do that, you know what I'm saying? And then people get screwed in doing that. And that's why you need to go local. If you're going to buy gold or silver right now, do not trust anything online right now in this process.
Right. Okay. So we are good. Would you like to get into what you need to get into now?
Oh,
God. Or do you want to take a break and do a reading? Whatever you want to do.
The Trump thing is going to be all. But this is the thing. When we go back to 2016, right before he left, he told you that he would come back in some form or another. Now, I'm going to say this because in a way that we would not be taking any type of risk of putting him out in public in the position that he is in and what he has to do. They would not take the risk. So I still believe, and I'm going to say it again, he's still in Colorado in the mountain, and he hasn't left. And so that whole situation that was been unfolding for a long time is not him. And if you want to look at a situation where our whole world is under risk of flipping over to a financial process and how many people would like to take him down, it would be too much risk. And he knew that, and they know that. So there's just no way. And all you can do is confuse the public. You can confuse your enemy by putting puppets out there on purpose. So, I mean, and he specifically told you right when before he got on that plane, when they put the other puppet in the White House, he would be back in some form or another. And to me, it's a hard concept to think if in any corporation or any accomplishment that you've done, if you've already accomplished being president, unless that position changes, which I think it has, because you see the respect of other foreign leaders have looked at him in a different way, treat him in a different way. They're not treating him like a president. They are treating him like honor.
Yes, they are.
And you have to be paying attention what's going on with that. So, like I said, people call me bullshit, but you can call me bullshit at the end of when all this is being seen on this. This is the whole thing. So that's what's changing, is I do not believe you have seen him or his children.
Mm-hmm.
Since he left at the end of his first term.
Okay.
I believe he's behind the computers. I've done a lot of that stuff, but I do not believe anybody's seen him publicly.
Right.
But there's a lot of people they haven't seen publicly that were not going to take the chance or risk. So, like, again, at the end, it's all going to be seen. So, we'll see. So, with that, I believe the reverse cycle has opened. So, the Earth's kings and, the ones who think they're in charge and all that stuff is being removed. Powers be, well, powers that used to be are no longer
true
in power. And this is like, when they started selling art and of the Rothschilds and all that stuff and their houses and stuff, I'm like, we went back and talked about, crimes against humanity. The crimes against humanity would be your assets would be taken away, accounts would be completely frozen. I don't care if it's a yacht. I don't care where it is, what country it is. They're going to seize all of it. And that's what they've done.
Yes.
This is the thing. And I'm going to tell you, and I've said this, and you know this, and I've said it to everybody. I believe that the U.S. citizens, or how they develop in the new continents that we have, that we own certain corporations. And because a lot of those corporations were involved in crimes against humanity. And before he left, he made sure that that was implemented and showed us. So when Silicon Valley Bank was seized, and they knew where all their money was, told a big tale of where that money is. Trust me, they don't have it anymore. So, but now what needs to be seen is the actual crimes against humanity needs to be seen on a screen so people can actually read the information and the documentation, how things unfolded in this process. So now we're at a level. And so the judges and the attorneys and the police departments, the corruption side of things, and there was a corruption side of the military too. And I think that has already been cleaned up. But this is another level that has to be cleared up. And I think that's what's happening right now. So as we're going from city to city, there's more things going on. The screen, and they got you occupied with the whole immigration stuff and the ICE thing. And I'm like, there's more going on. And every time that they go into those cities, more going on than meets the eye.
Right.
Because the last stand with this situation, the judges and the lawyers are completely gone. They're removed in their position. Then our sovereignty can be implemented, the new ways that we have decided on independence to run our country can be implemented, because I want you to see what's stopping this. It's the last hurrah that the cabal has, is those paid judges that they've already paid off to stand in that, because they've been paid well in this situation. So when those collapse, there's nothing left. Nothing left. And this is the thing with shutting down the government. There's no urgent anymore. If you notice, you could feel there's no urgent, because it doesn't exist in the way that we know. This was part of the process of the collapse. You can feel it. There's stuff that is not coming back, and how they change the name and the titles and the divisions on how they implement the new stuff. It's going to be interesting. What's going to be really interesting? This is, I think, you want to see how you are going to create a world and make them humble really quick. To wake up one morning and everybody has money. What are you going to say?
Sure.
Everybody going to shut their mouth. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You ain't even going to hear liberals say anything. They'll be like, I ain't saying nothing because I want to keep this money. I ain't going to bash anybody. I ain't saying nothing. And that was the first time you were going to see them shut their mouth. They ain't going to say nothing, because they want that money to keep coming.
Right.
It's going to be interesting. But you're also going to see, when people do have money, their true intentions of what they're doing, whether they think, well, I don't have to work anymore, I don't have to do anything. But like I said, for me, it's like, okay, it's there. I'm going to still keep doing what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? We don't stop.
Absolutely.
Because
right.
It's there's a bigger picture in this situation than meets the eye. So yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting day. That'll be so very quiet. Because everybody's going to be sitting in shock.
Quiet. Someone be screaming too. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but society, in a way, they're going to think, well, we can go out and buy this and that. It's like, no, they're not going to be able to do that either. But it would bring peace in several ways. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things that, for me, anything that's by a creek in nature, oh my God, peace that would come. A place like that, being away from society. Yeah. Can't go wrong with nature. But absolutely. Yeah. So let's get back to the collapse. Calculating stillness, judgment is not the wrath for today. The dividing, recalibrating, the east gates trembling, the Babylon, the west gates, the echo, the finalization of the spirit decision, the tree of knowledge, the tree of life, the separation again, discernment will rise only in those aligned with the light. Now, the negative's not going to be able to feed this anymore. They're not going to be able to live off this. I think they're so used to so much corruption, getting away with so much corruption, when something of reality comes in, that they won't get away with it.
Right.
And it stopped again.
You froze for a quick second. You're there. Yeah, it was just really quick. We still got you. We got the.
Okay.
We heard you.
So how things have to end is what's going to make people feel uncomfortable. At some point, everything has to end, which is this play has to come to an end. The curtains have to be brought down.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the thing I've said. Trump has already exited the true field of this. You know what I'm saying? What you're seeing is a person play a character.
Central casting.
Hold on a second.
Yes, I hear a kitty. I hear a kitty.
Okay. So we talk about, Trump, the character is talked
No, you just froze. Wait for Jenny to get back. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Thank you for all the kind words. Kevin, you're ready to drive the NPC scoop truck. Awesome.
We're at a point.
You're back.
Everything ending. Here we go.
Yeah, we're at it again.
Am I still there?
You're frozen, hon. I can hear you, but you're frozen.
I might have to switch internet again.
Do what you have to do. It's okay.
Are you there?
Folks don't mind. We can hear you, but you're still, your view is frozen.
Hold on. I'm going to have to do this. There we go.
Thanks for your patience, guys. Internet, it works when it wants to.
Okay. So I used the word ambassador.
You did.
So the respect of that position as it is chosen, he's been chosen by other countries to sit in a position. So that other position really, it's not fitting to where we're going. And so I think that's going to change. So, and that's a hard thing for people to accept, that he wouldn't stay in that term, but that whole society and the way the government is changing. So it feels uncomfortable that this is falling apart in the way with the new financial process coming in. Like I said, it's going to be flipping overnight. And this is the thing people are confused by, because there's been no guidelines out. People need the guidelines to know what they need to go by. So you've left them in the dark, and it's going to stir up massive confusion until they have guidelines to go by of how things are going to change. And at some point, it has to be implemented. They have to show the public of what's going on instead of just stirring the pot.
They can only do that so much.
We can take some questions now.
Okay, we have a few. What would Baron Trump's role turn into?
I think it's like a younger Tesla. I do. I think he's behind the keyboard on a lot of things. I think he runs more than anybody knows. I think he has a high IQ. I think he is involved in a lot of things, and I think he's got confidence of knowing everything and having the information. So that's a strong position.
It is. And when you watch him on when I see him on video, he does look like he certainly knows more than what people think he knows. He just has that way about him. Especially for being so young.
Yeah.
That's just
very
age,
old
though.
soul, very knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
Kids like that have that intelligence and their presence is known, how they're leading and he's one of those that that can lead the young very easily.
Right.
If he makes it in a public way, I think really it would be a good process and position for him to be in, because the younger generation needs to be led in a different way. That is someone that's respected in a different process. So that would be great.
Right. Would. Okay. XRP question. Will the banks buy our XRP?
If the banks have the gold for themselves, if they have the backing, because I think they had to have at least 30%, because that was the thing. They couldn't use us as their backing anymore. They couldn't use us. So I believe they had to have 30% gold. I think we had some kind of map drawn out with that. So I still think you're going to see a lot of banks drop off as things have to be implemented, and they have to. And I know, what was a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, they all had to sign an agreement, and they all have to, because they're going to be transferred over to distributing centers, and that there are not going to be any banks. Eventually, we're not going to need them in that format, because AI, technology is going to take over in a different way. So that's going to change.
Okay. Thank you. Are we going to end up seeing 1955 prices?
I hope so. Gas, I think, is going to be your first one. Then I think it's going to be groceries, and then housing.
Okay.
And then manufacturing and all that stuff, because it's a big concept to see that happening. Like, how can we just flip? How can we just flip that? But it all has to be aligned together for that to happen. Well, there has to be a total agreement upon that. You know what I'm interested in? Not just the housing. So the price of rent is really high.
Yes.
In the United States, it's crazy. Canada's crazy too. And how they're going to bring that down, and how, and I think, because the landlords can't just take the impact. There's got to be a way that the government's going to rebalance that out, so people can pay lower rent. So I just think, so those are the areas that I see, the rent cost is going to have to go down. How the price of housing is going to go down, oil and gas, and then food, groceries, all this stuff. It's all about bringing it down. As it rised up deliberately, it can also reverse the process.
Right.
The dismantling of the medical facilities, which is a big money maker, on how they're going to completely annihilate those. It's going to be an interesting process that I want to see as you're getting into smaller clinical naturopathic processing through when you go in and people are coming out being healthy instead of sick. Right. And how that impacts and changes, and how we're getting away from vaccinations now, and how that's going to change too, the medical department, because they're not going to be able to make money anymore.
Right.
And I'm interested in how fast they're going to assess and actually implement the true cure to cancer and actually implement it as fast as it can. I mean, that's the thing. The sickness in the world was a money-making machine. It was a money-making machine.
Yeah. The biggest one, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. When will the corrupt people hurting mothers and children be caught in Canada?
I think that's soon, and this, the whole process. I think they have it implemented in layers, but I believe it's soon, because I believe these continents, they're going to come together and work as one country. So that's going to change. So those people are seeing, they don't understand how they're seeing military in Canada, our military,
Right.
happen unless something's changed. So I think they're dealing with our state locals. They got to take down the governors. They got to take down, and this is where I think they're making California governor look like a clear piece of shit. And he is, and how evil they're making him play that part. That basically you can't say anything on media anymore. We're gonna put a law in and all that stuff. I'm like, who's gonna put up with that? You're in the wrong country to understand how that's gonna work.
Right.
And that might get him shot, honestly. But you just got to be careful, because people are they're on that last verge of everything. So we'll see what they're trying to actually dismantle in California all the way to the ground. That's what I think they're trying to do. So we'll see. I mean, they have curfews. I mean, California's kind of locked down in certain areas anyway. So
right. Okay. Thank you. How far behind USA is Canada in the process of standing together?
the thing is, I think it will be once they see the benefits, but the thing is, there's a lot of them are just completely brainwashed. They're going to sit outside that process for a little while, and then they have to accept it.
Okay. Thank you. Will we see the pink fog by the end of the year?
Yes.
Okay. That'll be good. How are we with the RV? Do you think we'll get disclosure soon?
Yes, sooner than you think.
Okay, thank you.
You know what I talked about, and I told people about that checklist. I want you to really think about, in a conscious way, what we have left to check off on that checklist. And look at how many are gone, and the resistance is not there. They're chasing the rats into the city, what's left, and isolating them. The agreements are being made. So what I'm saying is, look at this in a list, not a date. And for yourself to say, we're at the end. Because what else is left?
Right. Okay.
That's the whole thing about it.
Right.
And
Now that question, the humanity projects, when will they get their funding? I know that was in the list there.
Right after the XRP goes up, the funding hits, because that all has to do with the agreement, trust that Trump signed today to make sure there was peace across the world. What's the next thing? we have to take care of humanity. We have to take care of our world. We have to implement these programs. And because no one's holding us back, from doing what's right now. And when we have the funding, you're not going to have people trying to stop it. So it's all part of it. Like I said, the XRP is like that ringing the bell, and that hits, then everything else falls. And people think it's going to be drip, drip, drip. It's not. It's going to be like once that XRP hits, then it's floodgates. You might as well just sit back and go, I'm just going to sit here and watch this for a couple of days. There's going to be a series of us just watching the liberals fall apart, just going, yeah. Just saying.
They seem to be doing that lately about a bunch of different things, don't they?
Oh my goodness, it's insane, right?
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Did the baddies focus their operations more in all the liberal locations?
Did what?
The baddies. The bad people, I guess. Did they focus on the liberal areas?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm getting. But
they like to hide in those areas. No, that's why I say Minneapolis, St. Cloud, all of them, like, come out, wherever you are. Eventually, you have to. It's a cesspool. So, I mean, you're watching California. California's, it's just destroyed now, and so it's going towards Minneapolis. It's going to be just as bad.
Okay. How high do you think XRP will go?
I think it's going to be pretty high. I mean, I honestly, they're talking about the youngest millionaires of our lifetime, and I was even looking at stuff like when I get off tonight, I'm thinking I'm going to get on this stock market and buy some more stuff.
Right. Don't blame you. Okay. If the Medbeds will heal everyone, how do you see chiropractic, Chinese medicine, and functional medicine going forward?
It won't be. No need. Natural healing. Energy work. That's going to be the transformation and change. But chiropractic, painful. Acupuncture, painful. No need for it.
Okay. Thank you. Do you see anything for Australia?
Oh my gosh, they're holding on to them so tight, and they're just not letting them breathe. And I always thought that they were going to be part of the United States. I think that's on that list. So, I think we're going to assess Canada first, but then Australia is another one that will be part of our region. And I'm wondering why they haven't started going towards that direction yet. But I just feel like it's one of those things like the small continents, like, hey, don't forget about us. Come over here and take care of it over here,
Yeah.
So we have to clean our backyard first before we can start cleaning theirs.
Okay, thank you. How worse does it have to get in Chicago to finally be over?
Saturated corruption. God.
Yeah.
When you had the old mafia there, traditional mafia, that'd be a different deal. But you got this just cesspool that's, and it's in there deep, and, they have to literally pluck it out. They're going to be in there for a while. And then it's not even that. It's the police department. It's the governor. It's all of them. They have to, that's a city that has to start from a completely blank slate again.
Right. I was just going to say that. They got to clean it out and start from fresh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's saturated. So is Georgia. Georgia is another one. Those judges and attorneys, all they do is they cover up pedophile after pedophile after pedophile. That's all they do. I mean, there's a case down there, and they, the father had all the evidence that he was molesting his daughter, and the judge still put him with her. And I mean, they just don't. They're pedophile judges or covering up for pedophile civilians. It's just, it's a different process. I mean, it's just saturated down there.
It's awful. Okay. Let's see how we're doing on time. Oh, we're 46 minutes in. Do you want to take a break and do a reading or no? Or we've only got like maybe one question.
Okay, yeah, we can do. Let's do let's, instead of saying reading, let's do the number, because I think that they tend to like that better.
Okay. Okay, folks, we're going to take a break, and Jenny's going to start doing
1 to 30.
What? 1 to 30. Okay. We're going to start a use your intuition. Jenny's going to pick a number between 1 and 30. If you would like to be chosen for a free mini reading tonight, live here on YouTube, you have to be in the live chat. Just put in a number, something between 1 and 30, and the first one to get that number will get chosen for a reading. Unless there's 5 people who pick the same number at once, then we'll be busy for a little bit.
Right.
So.
Okay, look at the numbers on there. Stacy Dennis got it already.
Okay, Stacy Dennis. So what was it, 12?
Yep. Love that last name.
That's a good one, huh?
Isn't it? That's my maiden name.
Okay, Stacy, I'm putting Jenny's number in the chat for you. Give her a call. She's in the States. I don't know where you're from, but just so you know, there you are. We just lost Jenny again. She froze. Let's see. Yeah, you froze for a quick second, but you're back. You're good. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right. Okay, the number's up there for Stacy, so you should be calling in. Do you want a question in between?
Sure. While we're waiting.
Do you see the foreign exchange happening?
Yes.
Oh, okay, nice and easy.
I think that's going. Oh, here she is.
Okay, we shall wait.
Hello?
Hi, this is Stacy.
Hey, Stacy, it's Jenny. How are you?
I'm well.
Good. What would you like to go into?
I'm ready for a change in my
life. Yeah, I can feel you're drained, tired, exhausted. Like literally, you're over it.
Yeah.
And it just feels like you're not getting any nourishment from any part of it. Because I feel like once the financial thing flips, you are going to make a completely different decision in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because I think you're at a point that your soul's saying, if I don't get out now, I'm never going to get out.
Correct.
Yes. Some of us has been there.
Yeah.
And so, and I got to tell you, when you make that decision, your soul's going to be happy, just to breathe and feel free of that is what you need.
Yeah.
And you're not making a mistake. You've analyzed and thought about this for a long time, and it's just your soul wants to be happy. So on those choices, I think it's going to be easier than you think. Once you decide that the final nail in the coffin, and you're out that door, and you won't look back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I feel that you are making a choice that's been analyzed many times, and you know that you're not valued, and that's what you need to be, is valued. And it's a hard thing when you're facing that.
Yeah.
And you have to choose yourself. You have to choose to be happy. And it's on both sides. I've seen men that are like, I'm done. And I've seen the women like, I can't do it either, and it's on both sides of the track on that. But once you make that final decision, everybody looks back and go, thank God I did. Thank God I did. And so you hold no responsibility with this. So, and I believe when that door opens, you're just going to go through it. Nothing's going to stop you from doing it.
Yeah.
And so,
kind of like being a racehorse in the starting gate. You're just waiting for that gate to open.
Yeah, and once that gate opens and you see the opportunity, you're going to go, because you're like, yeah. And that's the whole thing, because I had it a little different. I mean, I had it in my ear, and within seconds, and said, "You're going to leave now, and you're not coming back." And I left. Okay, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So you're going to be fine.
Yeah, I'm keeping the faith.
Yeah, and you're stronger than you realize in this process. And down the road, I see you very happy with someone in your future.
Yeah, I've been told that before.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just hanging on. And I do feel like we're holding the line for so many.
Yes, we are. We are, but we also are leading examples. And so it's going to give them strength.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So you are doing the right thing.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. So this has been great.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
That was awesome.
Yeah, and I love your last name. It's my maiden name.
Yeah, Dennis the Menace.
Dennis the Menace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, Jenny Dennis.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's my maiden name after life is interrupted. So.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, take care,
Thanks
hon.
everybody for your comments too.
You're welcome. Have a good night, hon. Bye.
Okay, good one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we always think we're stuck in one situation, but the peace that comes with making the right decision for the soul.
Mm-hmm.
And you're being honest with the soul. Instead of leaving it in hypertension, for the rest of your life.
Right.
you can't do it. So,
Peace is more important than many things.
this is the thing too. I mean, when you're going through this process, I think, and maybe I'll talk about this because I had to go through it myself. So the thing is, you sit there and go, okay, I did this right. I did this right. I did everything. I'm like, I did everything I was supposed to do to make sure that things were done properly. But then there's the point. And you keep asking, when am I supposed to leave? When's it going to be finally done? Because your soul has completely not been in it for 12 years. And the thing is, it's that inner voice, and you hear it, and it calls to you. And then
it does.
You know that you. And I swear, when I heard that, it only took me 20 minutes. I was gone. I was not analyzing. I was literally, my son was in the driveway, literally in the driveway. And I just sat in the kitchen, looking in the view, looking at the land. And I'm like, I'm leaving. Got my clothes.
Oh, she just froze.
And then
you just froze for a quick second. And frozen again.
Jeez.
You froze for a little bit there.
So
get your clothes to get out. Spirit said it and you listened.
Yes. And there will be many that will make that decision. And now is the best choice. That's where I am now. I'm pretty happy. Good. So anyway, we can take some more questions.
All righty. Question about a med bed. If you use a med bed, someone's saying that it will take your soul and put it in a box and you won't get out.
No, it will not.
Thank you.
So free will.
Get that confirmed.
What did that come from? Sky again?
No, that came from someone else. Another individual.
Perez? Did he's the one that said
no?
Oh, geez. The stuff that they're coming up with these days. I'm shocked.
The other one.
It is literally out of a rabbit's hat.
Or
a rabbit's ass.
Or I should say Mrs. Palm said it. So
no.
Yeah. Okay.
There is nothing going to contain your soul. We're at this process of light. And this is the thing. These people decide they're going to stay in the negativity. They feed off the negativity. They can't make decisions in their own life to get out of the situation alone, but then preach to everybody else what they need to do. So it irritates me because, and then you put fear out there and you project it onto others. This is the thing. And how is that even logical? It's not. So.
All right. Thank you. Okay, let's go across the water. Anything in Denmark?
Feels quiet. But it feels like, underground, there's things being changed. So, but on the surface, it feels quiet.
Okay, thank you.
That's right, Helena. Hallelujah.
Right. Right now there is some flooding, huge flooding in Alaska going on. Get anything for that?
Yeah, well, it seems like there's not an area in the world that they have not had to drown out, drain, or incinerate to make sure things are done right. So yes, we know what the situation is for the
Right.
reason what's going on. I thought it was down in Mexico too. They have a lot of water right now.
I believe they do, yes. And Tammy's saying that California's getting some big quakes and storms. Is the big one here?
So it would come down from Mexico, push its way up, and hit that coastline, hit LA, bring water into LA, and then go back out to sea, take out the bridges.
Okay. Lost you again. That's okay. To go back, you were, before we got to the first reading, you were talking about the foreign exchange info, but
Right.
we had to stop for the reading. Do you want to go back to that?
What was repeat the question on that one?
I believe it was, is the foreign exchange still going to happen?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if you're starting to add to it, but I don't know
Yeah.
what that was going to be.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. The XRP is the the top level on that, and once that hits, everything else is like a flood. People are not going to be able to keep up with it. Like Trump says, you're not going to win so much. You're used to winning, win. And then all the money that they have to pay us back for consistently. I mean, so yeah, it's insane.
Right. Alrighty. Here's a good one. Where's religion going to be after all this?
So this reminds me of my grandmother, and she put her heart and soul into that faith. And I'm talking about the little individual churches and stuff like that. And it's on the purity of their soul, like they really gave because they thought they were doing the right thing. And I think these smaller community churches are going to stay. But I think these bigger capitalism churches are going to dismantle. But I think as the true Bibles and the true religion and, the true books come to the surface, the Book of Enoch, all this stuff, then they'll change in different ways. But I feel that community, the smaller ones, are going to stay.
Okay, thank you. The Great Lakes, are they going to see a physical climate change?
No.
Getting anything on the Great Lakes? Besides that, I don't know.
Could be some things that have to be pulled out of there that need to surface. I've been under there for a long time. Yeah. Love to be digging up that area, pulling stuff out. It'd be great. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Alrighty. Elon Musk's new phone and the Starlink, is it going to replace the iPhones?
Yes.
As well as the other cell phones? All of them?
I think so.
Okay.
I think they're advanced technology anyway, so.
Right.
iPhones are about control.
Okay. Can you describe what astral traveling feels like?
I don't do astral traveling because I don't believe in the way, because it's like traveling through the purgatory. And you might get something good and you might not. So astral traveling, Spirit has already told me, don't do that. So I don't do that. What I do is I go beyond that, where there is not that garbage that you have to dive through. So, so basically, that's a 3D concept. And I've gone past that a long time ago on that concept. So I think the travel that I do and I teach is peaceful. It should not be like, maybe this one's good, maybe this one's not. Maybe this one will affect me, maybe this one will not. So astral travel, I don't do that because I go beyond a certain level. And they've always told me that from that plane, you got to go further than that to get through a clear channel to a clear place. So stay away from astral travel.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Well, some people, I guess, may not know, is the Golden Gate Bridge going bye-bye?
Bye-bye. Incineration. Those are thresholds that keep and contain energy. And once that's open, it's a different deal.
Okay. Nice. Kevin made a statement. He says that tomorrow is October 1st in the Julian calendar, and October 1st is the first day of the financial year. So.
Very interesting, Kevin. Might be onto that.
Maybe.
Maybe those dates might be accurate there.
We'll find out tomorrow.
Yes, we will. Wake up tomorrow.
Yeah, check your bank account, right?
Or you're going to hear alarms anyway. You would hear alarms and stuff go off. You won't be able to sleep because the police are going to be driving down the roads. The big speaker. Yeah.
Alrighty. Why is Trump doing the floors in the White House if it's going to be removed?
That sets a ceremony. It's important. And represents the golden age. I think people have not understand the concept of how much money is involved in the world. It's huge. So
I think most people just don't have the concept of that amount of money.
Right.
Period.
I know, but you know what I'm saying, as in the amount. So when they start to see that, so it's a ceremony that's important, and it represents the new golden age as they come together. So, I mean, you look at things of how important is it? Very important. Maybe that's that one piece that they're going to keep, and the rest is going to be gone. Maybe that's the symbol. I don't know, but like I said, be paying attention what's above it when this happens. When there's some event that is happening in that area at that time. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, how about the Bay Bridge? It's in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Still going.
Go. Thank you. Okay.
How do you shut it? So how do you shut everybody out? How do you keep people from traveling? Take away their air travel and take away the access to get out of the cities. Bridges too, right? Military control. You can't allow anything in to do harm, and when they exit, you can't. So everybody has to stay in that stillness process.
Okay, thank you. Deborah's asking, are the white hats real? Ringing that bell.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope it's a white rabbit sings a song too. Funny.
When do you see air travel temporarily?
I think that's going to cease real soon here, but again, that the thing is, it's like welfare travel. in the air. Do you understand how ghetto we are at with air travel? It is beyond bad, and then we pay out big money for this horrific, horrible air travel that you can't control or do anything about it. So yeah, that upgrade is going to change quick.
Okay.
Talk about a graveyard. Gosh.
How would they get? Is there a way that they're going to get rid of all of these things?
They're going to they would have to go, I mean, some of the military ones end up in graveyards for military vehicles like that. And then I don't know. I mean, maybe someone in the chat would know where they end up, but I've seen them. That's going to be a pain in the ass to get rid of. It's not going to be easy. It's just like when they decommission a ship, just to decommission it. It just takes years to even just do that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting how everything changes.
Yeah, it is. Okay. What do you think of air travel during Thanksgiving week?
It might be different. You guys, I'm not lying on that one. I don't think it's going to be functioning the greatest way.
Okay. So Rockers is saying both the Mayan and Zolkin calendars align tomorrow and Wednesday for timeline convergences. What are your thoughts?
What is it?
Both the Mayan and Zolkin calendars align tomorrow and Wednesday for a timeline convergences. Do you have any thoughts on that? Okay.
The energy feels positive. Feels like it needs to come together. I don't think it's a negative process at all.
Okay, thank you. Education. How many years are they going to school our children in the future?
In the program.
We usually had 12 years, right?
No, it's going to be because they have to. I don't think that whole process is going to be gone and annihilated because it has to do with the conscience of the child and that the level that they are at, and they need to be taught and learned by that conscience. So I think it's going to be changing the way, allowing a child to advance the way they want to, not what they're forced to. And that's the thing. It's the what appeases the mind. And they have to adapt to actually appeasing the mind. Because I was one of those kids that was just like the hardest thing because I wanted to go 110 miles an hour, even in kindergarten, on that stuff. And you're just forced. Everything felt forced. So that program's it's got to be changing here soon. And like where Trump, the biggest process is technology when it comes to natural skill that they need to learn. Again, plumbing, engineering, all the stuff that, these skills that they pay pretty damn good now because no one wants to do it.
Yes.
Got it. Plumbers, electricians. Oh, it's insane how much they get now because no one wants to do it. It's crazy. So those skills are going to change, and I think that you're going to see more value in that. But the whole education system is going to be gutted.
Yeah,
and I think I heard what Trump was like, if you don't like the way it is, just get out. And that's where it is with the government. Get out. We're done. We're good. Now, 80% of what left is not coming back. We didn't need them.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Do you want to take another break and do another read?
I think we're
up to it or not.
Yeah,
you're at the end. We're good.
We're good. Okay. This is 2 nights in a row. My mind.
I know. I thought so.
Yeah. But I will let them know. And I will let you know what platform, because it just came into. I used to do radio, and been called back to doing that and making a decision on what platform I am going to do that in. And I'll be still having this show, but radio works different with me on how I set that information, and it will be my show, but going into other information that's different. So I will inform you guys on that process. So I just, there's a difference channeling and getting information. It's like when you're occupied with YouTube, you have to pay attention to all this. When you're on a radio show, really concentrate in the questions, and you're just focus on it in a different way. And I like it to be able to allow people to see both sides of that. And so Spirit goes, you know how our world is changing. We're going to go back to radio for a while, because you're not, the media is going to change a little bit. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to that for a while. And I think it'll reach people in a different way. But yeah, I'll be announcing that soon.
Okay, sounds great.
So it'll be
Jenny's community chat. Okay, I will put in Jenny's Telegram channel.
Patreon.
All right.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. So I kind of like the coast to coast, the way they present their information, and that's kind of the presence I want.
Okay. We will let people know.
Yeah. Life goes on. Change is coming. We have to adapt to that change, and we're still going to be here, and we're still going to be leading people through this. I'm not going anywhere when it flips. So just starting a new journey.
There's your Patreon too, if people want it.
Yeah.
Do you have your bell?
Yes, I do. I have a couple of them.
Okay, folks, let's take a moment, ring the bell for the children. If we can quiet the chat, that would be great. And if you've got them, ring them.
Wait till, it's going to be great when this bell rings in two things, which is for the children and the financial new golden age XRP.
Right.
So the bell, it's funny how it means so many things, and it does so much.
For sure.
So, let you guys know. Have a good night, and we might see you tomorrow. We might not. There might be internet. There might not. But when it's all over, guess what? Our Spirit says, what do you have to worry about? If we get unplugged for 3 days, what do you have to worry about? We start fresh.
Okay, thank you very much.
Then we start to work on the project for humanity.
Can't wait for that.
I know. Great. So, you guys stay in the light and don't worry about all this fear process outside our atmosphere. It's just another shit show.
It is. All right.
Okay.
Good night, guys.
Good night, guys. Take care.